We've been doing a series of Dharma talk on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. And for those who haven't been here previously, you have missed out on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold. The Eightfold Path we haven't really started yet. We have spent about 6 or 7 Dharma talks on the Four Noble Truths. These are the basic that all those who follow the Buddha's teaching, they should know about it, the Four Noble Truths. What are the Four Noble Truths? Maybe it's worth reiterating in here, just for 1 or 2 minutes. The Four Noble Truths, suffering, that's the first Noble Truth. Causes of suffering, second Noble Truth. Third Noble Truth is cessation of suffering. Fourth Noble Truth is the path leading to the cessation of suffering. In other words, suffering, you can stop suffering. So we know the suffering in this world, what kinds of suffering, how come we have suffering, source of suffering, why we are suffering, we all cover that. What are the causes for it? We already have covered that in detail. How to stop suffering. We can stop suffering, that's third Noble Truth. How to do it, that's the path leading to it. And I think right now we've got to the path. I should be talking about the Noble Eightfold Paths now. The objective of listening to Dharma talk is to understand the truth of life, or to awaken the faculty of penetrative understanding, which see things as they really are. You know what I mean? To see things as they really are and not as what they appear to be. To see things as they really are. We are born with mental defilements, with views and habits that have influenced us since birth. Not just the present birth, but also in uncountable births before this one. We don't only have this life, we have previous lives and we have the future life. We have the past, the present, and the future. So we have accumulated all these habits and views. To arrive at the realization of the truth, to see things as they really are, which I explained in 2 talks before, it is necessary to take up the practice of meditation. Why? Because meditation strengthens the capacity for sustained concentration. It's easier to develop insight by training yourself with meditation. And it's been proven also by many people that meditation is also very good for health. It serves the purpose of maintaining good health too, especially mental health. This insight so gained would gradually eliminate our ignorance and help to acquire wisdom. Wisdom, prajna. For those who have learned the Hridaya Sutra, you know what prajna is all about. Prajna, prajna. Prajna is wisdom, and this wisdom is different from intelligence that we always have been talking about. It's more than just intelligence. But how is wisdom to be acquired? How do you acquire wisdom? Wisdom cannot be gained by merely learning, gathering, and accumulating a whole bunch of information. Don't think that you'd read a lot of books, you'd see a lot of DVD tapes, and then you know everything about meditation. It's not just by reading information. You really have to practice it. You have to get insight and experience from it, not just by reading or tapes or DVDs. However, the Buddha said wisdom can be cultivated. We can cultivate wisdom. It comes into being through a set of conditions we have the power to develop. These conditions are actually sometimes we call them mental factors, components of consciousness, which fit together into a systematic structure that can be called a spiritual path. So this is the path leading to the cessation of suffering that we're talking about, and this is the the Noble Eightfold Path, the path that would lead us to stop suffering. And there are a few factors what we should remember. So we structure a path which include 8 mental factors, and we call that the Eightfold Path, the Noble Eightfold Path. Now what is this Noble Eightfold Path? There's 8 components to it. The first one is right understanding or right view, right understanding. In the Chinese language is zheng jian. In the Chinese language, zheng jian. Zheng is right. It's not diverted. It's not wrong. It's right. So right understanding, and some people call it right view. I'm talking about the Eightfold Path now. The first one is right understanding. Second one is right intention. In the Chinese language is zheng si wei. Right speech, zheng yu. Right action, zheng ye. Right livelihood, zheng ming. Right effort, zheng jin jing. Right mindfulness, zheng nian. Right concentration. So altogether there's 8 components. I repeat, the Noble Eightfold Path are extremely important to understand the Buddha's teaching. Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Considered from the perspective of practice, the Noble Eightfold Path can be categorized into 3 groups. We use the heading, for example, morality, concentration, and wisdom. These are the 3 pillars of the Buddha's teaching: morality, concentration, and wisdom. Morality, in the Sanskrit language, we call it sila, S-I-L-A, morality, sila. Concentration, samadhi, S-A-M-A-D-H-I, samadhi. Wisdom, prajna. So if we talk in the Sanskrit language, sila, samadhi, and prajna, these are the 3 pillars, like the pillars of Buddhism, the foundation to support the whole building. In common English language is morality. If you don't have morality, you can't practice the Buddha's teaching. On the one hand, you're following the Buddha's teaching. On the other hand, you're doing all kinds of unwholesome deeds. You're involved in unwholesome actions, unvirtuous actions. Then you're contradicting yourself. So you really have to have morality. Of course, there's a lot of details under morality. The Tripitaka, all these sutras and all these talks and all this Vinaya and precepts book, they are dealing with morality. So morality. Concentration is the meditation that we're talking about in here. Concentration. You need concentration too. And then you also need wisdom. So morality, concentration, and wisdom are the 3 pillars of Buddhism. Now why do we outline these 3 pillars? We try to outline these 3 pillars and we fit the Noble Eightfold Path into it. Now then, how do we relate morality to the Eightfold Path? Morality means training the moral discipline, which includes what? Right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Remember I talked about the Eightfold Path? So morality, under morality there's right speech. If your speech is not right, you're cursing, you're lying, you're slandering, you're flattery, then it's not the right speech. That's not morality. You're cursing, you're lying, you're slandering. If you don't, that is out from the morality confines. So morality means training the moral discipline, which includes right speech and right action. Abstinence from killing, abstinence from sexual misconduct, abstinence from stealing. All this killing, sexual misconduct, and stealing, all these deal with actions. So you really have to have the right actions. Now I'm simplifying right now. in the later session, I still have to touch on every one of these Eightfold Paths. For example, right understanding, right speech, right action, right livelihood. We really have to deal with it in detail. I'm just giving you a very simple outline. Morality, the three pillars. First one is morality. Second, concentration. Third is wisdom. Under morality, you fit what in there? You fit right speech, right action, and right livelihood. What is right livelihood? Your occupations, what you're doing. If you're following the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha way, but you're involved in illegal deeds, drug trafficking, dealing with weapons, or involved in a trade that is slaughtering animals, killing, all these, not the right livelihood. You are involved in something that induces a lot of bad karma to yourself and to others. So under morality, you really have to study right action, what is right speech, and what is right livelihood. So Buddhism is not dealing with just getting blessings from Buddha, leaning down in prostration, not dealing with mystical stuff about aura, about spirituality, about getting clairvoyance. No, we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with actual livelihood, the way of living, your morality. So morality includes right speech, right actions, and right livelihood. Second pillar is concentration. Concentration means training the consciousness to develop insight, which includes right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So concentration or meditation would include right action, right mindfulness, and right concentration. What is right effort? Right efforts is you really have to apply your efforts to every one of these Eightfold Paths. Right speech, you must learn and apply your efforts to uphold your right speech. You must apply efforts to do right actions, apply efforts to do right livelihood. So every one of these need right efforts. In other words, it's diligence, working hard. No follower of the Buddha's teaching is a lazy fellow. We always have to work extremely hard, we're practiced at it. So right effort, right mindfulness. Remember when we're meditating, we said, when we're circumambulating, we said we pay attention to your walking movement. Right mindfulness. You must be mindful of what you're doing. You must not say, I don't know what I'm doing. I have done something wrong, and when you ask me why I did it, I said, I didn't know. It's out of my control. The problem is, you're not in control of your behavior, your speech. As a matter of fact, when you are out of control, you do all kinds of unwholesome deeds, which leads you to bad karma, which leads you to bad effects. So if you're doing mindfulness, that means you know what you're doing. You're mindful of what you're doing. If you're always mindful of what you're doing, wonders come. Why? Because given that you know what is right and what is wrong, and if you're always mindful of what is wrong, you won't do the wrong thing. If you're always mindful, if you know that being angry is not right, then you can control your temperament. You won't be angry. You won't yell. You won't shout. You won't curse, because you are in control. A lot of people say, oh, of course I'm in control. This is my own mind. My own mind, this is my mind. Of course I can control it. The fact is, you can't. Sometimes you can. But you don't have that concentration. Sometimes you're mindful, but a lot of times you're not mindful. So you need also concentration. How to persist in the mindfulness. A constant persistence of mindfulness is that concentration. You are mindful sometimes, because sometimes you You did something wrong and you know, oh, I did it wrong. I don't know why I did it. Criminals are like that. When they commit crime, when they ask them why, they say, I don't know, I just did it. Out of my control. Extremely dangerous. So you, under right concentration, it includes right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Lastly, not least, wisdom. Wisdom means training the consciousness from developing insight to the penetration of the ultimate reality. Now, that's difficult to understand. Wisdom is to understand, to penetrate, have an insightful penetration into what things really are, not as they appear to be. Is illusory. What they appear to be is illusory. And this wisdom is the highest wisdom. The Buddha called it Bodhi, or the Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi, which includes right understanding and right intention. So wisdom includes right understanding and right intention. So if we can classify it, if we fit the Eightfold Path into the 3 columns of morality, concentration, and wisdom, that's how they should look like. So, let's just repeat. What are the Noble Eightfold Path? Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. You really have to know this before you proceed even into the Buddha's thinking. Without this foundation, you can't practice the Buddha's teaching. You don't know the basic. Not just prostration, not just meditating in there and you don't know anything about it. You just meditate and no thought. People say, just no thought. Why no thought? How to achieve no thought? If I have no thought, will I be just turn into a piece of stone? A piece of stone doesn't have any thought. Why should I turn myself into a piece of stone of having no thought? Is no thought right? Can I have no thought? If my mind is 24 hours working, always actively working, how can I have no thought? All these problems and the questions come up. We need to answer these questions. Okay, let's just first of all just discuss the first Eightfold Path. We call it the right understanding or the right view. Some people call it the right view. We may not know that we already have a view on everything we see, but we already have. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything we smell, we taste, we touch, we have a view on it. Oh, this is hard, this is soft, this is pungent smelled. We all have views on everything. This is your view. In fact, our whole thinking structures, our perception, labels our values and crystallize them into ideational framework through which we interpret the meaning of our life and the world. We label our values, we stigmatize everything. We have a view on everything. This is tall, this is short, this is ugly, this is beautiful. We live in a world of duality. We discriminate. We have a view on everything. Our views condition our action, speech, and thinking. Views generally divided into 2 classes. Anyway, why do we have a view? Why do we being born with a view? Because we carry this from previous lifetime, not just this present life. In this present lifetime, based on our family background, our education, what we experience, we have certain views that we have. But not just that. That is views of the present lifetime. There are also views of previous lifetime that you brought over. Karmic views. Some people are more obstinate than the others. Some people are more bigotry than the others. Some people are more violent. Some people are more jealous. Some people are more greedy. Some people are more compassionate. Some people are more considerate. Why? All these views have been accumulated from the past. And views generally divided into two classes. Right view or wrong view, very clear. Some view is right and some view is wrong. It is important that we must hold the right view, of course, and if we hold a wrong view, it would lead us towards courses of action that eventuate into suffering. One of these wrong views, to think that killing is right. Humans kill animals for food, We've already been talking about that. Killing. You think that killing is right, slaughtering animals. That's been a view passed from our ancestors. That's been a view that we carry one life after another. We kill animals for food. Humans, they don't need to eat meat, Our teeth is not meant to eat meat. We're vegetarian, actually. But somehow we thought that killing animals for food, it's been a custom for a long time that we're used to it. But it led us to suffering. How? Well, we'll go into details about reincarnations, about rebirth. On the other hand, if we adopt a right view, that view will guide us towards right action and consequently towards freedom from suffering. Two kinds of right view stands out as the most important. Under right view, there's two kinds of right views. One is a mundane right view which operates within the confines of the world we're living in. Mundane right view, that is, right view of the world that we're living in. The second is a supra-mundane right view, which deals with the way to liberate ourselves from the world of suffering. So one view is about the world. The other view, the supra-mundane view, is about beyond this world. There's two kinds of views. Views of this world is easy to understand. Views that is beyond this world is more difficult to understand. So we have a mundane right view, a worldly right view, or supra-mundane right view. So what is a mundane right view? Mundane right view, or the world right view. We have already studied karma in detail. Causes of karma and all that, we already have studied. Karma is distinguished as wholesome and unwholesome karma. There's wholesome karma and unwholesome karma. Unwholesome karma is action that is morally degrading, detrimental to spiritual development, and conducive to suffering for oneself or others. So that's unwholesome karma. Wholesome karma, on the other hand, is action that is morally commendable, helpful to spiritual growth, and produces benefits for oneself and others. So there's wholesome karma and unwholesome karma. We can give innumerable examples and instances of unwholesome karma and wholesome karma. We already have done so. The Buddha selects 10 of each as primary ones. The 10 causes of unwholesome karma are what of this unwholesome karma? The 10 causes of unwholesome karma: destroying life, taking what is not given or stealing, wrong action in regard to sense pleasures, which includes sexual misconduct, false speech, slanderous speech, harsh speech, idle chatter, greediness, anger, and ignorance. Now, the 10 causes of wholesome karma are the opposite of these. So sometimes we talk about karma, we cannot lengthen it to talk in detail, so we just delineate 10 of them for discussion. Destroying life, stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, slanderous speech, anger, greediness, and hatred, and ignorance. We single them out for discussion. The moral understanding and discipline is the foundation for right view. But what is morality? What is morality? Morality itself is an ambiguous word. Different people and different societies have different morality standards. And some people argued about that. You talk about morality. The Buddha's teaching talk about morality, but morality itself is an ambiguous word. Different societies have different standards. That's why the world has religious morality, even nasty morality, war morality, work morality, family morality. And how can you define morality? Everything is relative, they said. But here we are using the definition of morality in its normative sense that generally applies. Morality is public system applying to all rational persons, governing behavior that affects others and has the lessening of evil or harm as its objective. That means if you are inducing harm or evil deeds on others, that's not morality. If it has the objective of reducing evil or harm, then it is, in the normative sense, morality. Now, morality in the normative sense defines the quality of behavior being in accord with the standard of right or good conduct or with virtuous conduct. So if it is good conduct, right conduct, virtuous conduct, then it is morality. It is moral. The right view comes from... So, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about various things, but in order to put everything in the right perspective, we've been talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, and now we just talk about right understanding for now. In right understanding, some people were asked, right understanding, it is very important that we're being led by the right morality standard. And morality standard, it all varies. It's all relative. So how would we use? So we use it in the normative sense. Anything that is hurting others, inducing pain, or evil actions on others is lacking morality. So, the right view comes from wisdom. And wisdom is the direct instrument for reaching liberation from suffering. If you don't have wisdom, how can you meditate? If you don't have the right understanding, if you're meditating and if you always practice meditation, and on the other hand you're doing a lot of bad deeds, you're contradicting your objective of meditation. So you really have to support your meditation with the right understanding, which means maintenance of morality. And many people hold the wrong view that as long as I'm happy I can do whatever I want. They think that morality confines are created by religious people. Those who maintain that survival of the fittest is the most important, they laugh at morality and regard it as an impediment to life. They feel that I can do what I want to achieve my happiness, even though it is achieved at the expense of hurting others. We should understand that all our volitional actions have an influence on our destiny that will continue in the future, in future lives. If we don't care about others and continue to do your unwholesome deeds, you will induce karma on yourself, bad karma. The fact that if you are suffering now, and some people are suffering now, sickness, aging, departure from beloved ones, anxiety, fear, disappointment, all this suffering. Why are we suffering? We are suffering because we have brought our own karma from the past, because of your previous actions that brought about this karma. That's why you're suffering. This life is not our only existence, and our consciousness does not terminate with death. Our life continues into the next, in different form, but with the same alaya consciousness, unless we're liberated from the cycle of life and birth and rebirth. Alaya consciousness, we already have talked about in detail. We have 8 kinds of consciousnesses, and alaya consciousness is the storage consciousness. And For now, I won't go back in detail in Alaya consciousness. Now, there is no divine judge standing above the cosmic process who assigns reward and punishment. Nevertheless, the deeds themselves, through their inherent moral or immoral nature, generate the appropriate results. There's no creator who said, you'll be rewarded, you'll be punished. It's the deed themselves, the causality, that generate the karma and the appropriate results. It comes naturally. So you can't get away from karma. People can say, when I die, everything goes. My body is dead, I don't care, as long as I'm happy now. That's a nihilistic approach. You think that you only have this life? You have a continuity. You continue into the next life. You carry your karma into the next life. When you die, you can bring nothing with you. Nothing you can bring with you with your death. Not your bank account, not your house, not your property, nothing. When you die, you can bring nothing with you. There's one thing that you must bring with you, and you have no choice. That's your own karma. All the good things you have done, you brought them with you into the next life. All the bad things you have done, you brought them into the next life. All the love, you brought them. All the violence, the anger, the fear, the disappointment, you also brought them with you in your Alaya consciousness. So watch your action, watch your speech, watch your performance. You're responsible for your own action, your speech, your thinking. You can't get away with it. Time is almost up, and I haven't finished the right understanding. But let me tell you, the right understanding is very important. If you don't have the right view, the right understanding, no matter how you practice, it's diverted. It's not the right path. The Eightfold Path must be the right path. So you have to have the right understanding. If on the one hand you're practicing the Buddha's teaching, on the other hand you are selfish, you don't care about others, you're inconsiderate, you're not generous, you're not compassionate, you're extremely greedy, you're extremely ignorant. It does not matter how long you practice, how long you sit, you're going not in the right way. Your meditation must be supported by morality, must be supported by wisdom, by compassion. So you've got to have the right understanding. Your selfishness, that's hurting your understanding. So we need to, the number one in the Eightfold Path is, have you got the right understanding, the right view to life? The mundane view, the right view to the world. Then you go a little beyond. Have you got the right view to beyond this world? Supramundane? To liberate yourself from suffering. Have you got a right view on that? Do you know impermanence? Do you know simultaneous causality? Do you know, can you see things as they really are? Can you stay away from immorality? All that we'll really have to learn. Not just learning it, you have to remember it. You have to be mindful of it. That's why we have the right mindfulness to support it. And not just the right mindfulness, you have to practice and experience it continuously with the right effort, diligently, hardworking. There's right efforts. And whatever you're saying must be right, so you have right speech, not cursing, not slandering, not flattery. Then you also have the right action. You cannot steal, you cannot commit sexual misconduct, you cannot kill. Right livelihood. So all this work, all this Eightfold Path is not a linear scale that you finish this one, you go on to the next one. You finish right understanding, you go to right effort, you go to right livelihood. It's not a linear relationship. It's you're doing all this at the same time. They all work at the same time. They're interwoven together. You have to work at the same time, not just one by one. It's not a linear scale. Not a straight line approach, not a step-by-step approach. It's all together. This Eightfold Path would make you become the saint. Without the Eightfold Path, you don't have a foundation to practice. If you're practicing meditation, on the one hand, when you go home, when you interact with people, you're extremely selfish. Then you're not practicing the Buddha's teaching. You're fooling yourself. You're just meditating for health. I want to have good health. I want to relax. It's always I, the egoistic I. I want to achieve that. I want to get this. I want to get that. That's why I'm practicing meditation. No, that's not the right way. You're not trying to fulfill your ego in meditation. If you have an ego, I want to satisfy myself. My objective is to be healthy. My objective is I want to think clearly so that I can compete with the others. You have the wrong objective in meditation. You are full of greediness. You want this and you want that. Everything you want to do is you want to satisfy your needs, satisfy your ego. You haven't got the right view. You haven't got the right understanding. That's the number one most important mental factor in learning meditation. Have you got the right understanding?